Morning, just a quick one this morning. I'm just going to show you what we've got going on at the moment. About a week ago we put in a sugar wash, and obviously that's done now because it only takes 7 days. So what we've done then is we've added the two part A and part B sachets to clarify and get all the carbon out. That's now been washed out, but it's still a little bit grey. So what I've done is I've run it through the filter. So let's have a look at that. There it is, this fairly sort of grey looking goop in there. And off the side arm here of the grain father, I've attached this inline filter with a carbon filter, and you can see it's coming out absolutely gin clear now. So the next phase for this is we're going to do what they call a stripping run and boil all this stuff up and distill it, and then it'll be ready for the spirit run. Obviously get all the equipment together first, get it all nice and clean, and then you're in business. Right then, just going to give you a little demonstration of the line arm, how it goes on. And we've got an O-ring on the bottom there. This then feeds up into there, and we screw it on. Now you've got to be a little bit careful here because all this is made of copper. So if you give it too much oomph, it will bend the pipe a bit, as I discovered once. So I just go in there finger tight until I can feel the O-ring start to clench, and there it is. The next thing I do is I'm going to put the thermometer on. There we go. Now I like to stop it leaking any gases out, so I'll just use a little bit of tape around the top, just to keep it in the right place. Just like that. Do a bit of a battery check. Yeah, got plenty of life in there. Right, that's that stage done. Let's just adjust you, and I'll show you how it clips in. Now this one goes on top. It's got a seal around the outside. It just sits on the top. And these clips that you didn't use when you were doing the brewing, then just form a seal and clip in on that top bit. So we've got it all together now. I'm just going to plug it in and get the thing started. So we want to come up to 100 degrees. There's 100. On with the heat. That's on there. And once it gets to 55, then we're going to start the cooling flow. So what we've got is 18 degrees in there. On the top, I don't know if you can pick that up, we've got 20.7. That's the actual where the probe is. And when this one in here, when this one on the top, sorry, hits 55, then we're going to start the cooling flow. And in the name of saving water, we could just run a hose pipe in through the bottom of the line arm and then out on the top. But this tends to waste a lot of water. So what I've got is a very cheap and cheerful aquarium pump. So I'm just going to dump that in there. Straighten up some of these wires. And turn it on. Now what you want is about 2 litres a minute flow. Again, this is probably a bit more, but that's all for the good because that gives extra recirculating time around the actual line arm itself. So having tested that, I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to turn it off. And that's going to plug in to the bottom of the line arm just here. Okay, right, we're up and running. Nice. Sorry, I was busy next door cooking up a paella. What's happened now is that's hit about, well, it says 82 on there and it says 63 on there. At 55, you're supposed to turn on the cooling water through the line arm. I can feel that coming through cool now. So all this burning hot vapour is coming up through the dome, the alembic. It's coming through here, condensing, and then dripping down into here. Let's just see how well this is working. Okay, so 83 in there, 64 up there, so 43, 45, 49, and as it comes to the choke point, 46, 47, then it hits the line arm, it drops back down to, you see what I mean? You got like 40, 54 there, and 20 there, and at the other end we've got the way that water coming in and coming out. So really, all of this heat exchange is working beautifully. It's like this, I can keep my hand on it there, but the top bit there, it's getting really hot. It's like 65, and this dome's getting warm as well. On this first stripping run, we're going to take it all the way up to 100 degrees. Basically, it's just going to drip into here and it's going to recirculate through. I'll probably throw a few ice blocks in there just to keep it going. And that's it. That's the first part complete. So, all good. Right, what we've got dripping out of here then is the first thing of the spirit wash. There it is. Oh, really, really strong and very acetone-y. Obviously, this first part is just to get rid of all of the alcohol from out of the mix. All the bad stuff in there is in the fusel oil, the acetones, all the things that taste shit and give you a hangover. But on the second one, which is the stripping, which is the spirit run, that's when I'm going to get rid of those and filter them out by fractional distillation, so we're only getting the good stuff. Okay, it's coming out quite nicely. Look at that. Nice. Let's have a look at the temperatures. We're getting 88 on there, and we're getting, what are we getting on there? About 79. So it tends to be that as soon as it breaks and all of this vapour starts coming up, it really does go quickly. What we'll do just for a laugh is we'll put the thermal imager on it and see what it looks like thermally. Okay, right back at you with the thermal imager. This is going to show us what's hot and what's not. So there we've got the dome. You can just see how it's all that's cascading down and refluxing down the outsides. Yeah, and that top pipe, see, it's very hot in there. It goes almost completely black. That's on the line arm, and then it comes out, following it down. It looks like that stuff out of Game of Thrones, doesn't it? See if we can see a few drops dripping in. Hang on, where are we? One pipe, and the drips. And obviously it's all quite hot liquor down at the bottom. My terrible focusing, sorry about this. But yeah, there's the line arm in action. And you can see quite nicely how it's like a Christmas pudding with it all running down the inside. That'll go quite happily now for another sort of probably about 45 minutes, and hopefully we'll get a good return on the jar. Right, this stuff's coming out at a goodly lick now, so we're just going to do a little test and have a look. I'm going to take out this spirit thermometer. It's just like a normal hydrometer, but it's measured in degrees. And I'm going to put the tube in there for a bit and fill that up and see what we're getting. It will change and get weaker and weaker as the distillation continues. Obviously there's not that much alcohol left towards then. That could drop down from anything to sort of like about 30 to 16% according to this. Also, what's coming out here is really, really hot, so there's a temperature adjustment scale to have a little look at too, but I'm aiming for about sort of 70 sort of percent alcohol by volume. Now you might think, oh, that's rocket fuel, and yeah, it is, but you definitely wouldn't want to drink that because it would make you poorly. So we'll just wait for this tube to fill up. Yeah, it's filling up quite nicely at the minute, and then we'll do a little test. Yeah, temperature on the machine's now 90, 88.8 at the top of the line arm, and certainly cool enough to touch at the other end. I've chucked a few ice blocks into my little reservoir there just to keep the water down because I'm recirculating it. And well, you don't want to waste water, do you? That little rattle you heard just a second ago was inside the actual boiler itself. When we put the when we put the sugar wash in, there's usually about 2 or 3 capfuls of distilling conditioner, which stops it. It's like an anti-foaming agency, and there's like a handful of these ceramic saddles that go in there that stop the thing bubbling over and foaming up too much. And they're like little boil enhancers. I've got a couple of packets in there just to keep it all suppressed and down. But what we actually put back in there was about 18 litres of the sugar wash, which I imagine would have been about sort of 13%. Okay, so we'll just let this fill up a little bit more and then we'll give this a test. And those of you who are watching offshore thinking, oh my god, look at all that lovely vodka pissing out of there. Don't be fooled. If you drink this, it will make you really, really poorly because it's super, super strong. You could probably get a rocket to the moon on this stuff, or at least fill your car up with it. So yeah, don't be fooled. That comes later. Okay. That should do. I'll put that back in there. Dip our hydrometer in. And if you look really closely, I'll try and get you a bit closer for this. That's coming out at about, you're going to have to take my word for it here if I can't focus right, but that's coming out at about 78, 77 degrees alcohol by proof. Ouchie. So yeah, don't start swigging that stuff, it'll make you poorly. So yeah, bit of a recap. What's going on now is inside the boiler there's some ceramic boil saddles, 2 caps of conditioner, which is anti-foaming agent, and it's all coming into steam, refluxing down this alembic dome and coming up the vapors are coming up through this line arm. That's the temperature probe that we're interested in. They're coming through here. This is the heat exchange with water coming in at the bottom and going out at the top here. This is condensing and then it's dripping like fury at the minute into here. Let's have a little taste. Oh, super strong. Yeah, we'll leave that alone. And then back into here where it's full of ice blocks, because obviously we didn't want to waste any water. So this will run until about 100 degrees, and by which point all of that liquid in there, that sugar wash, will have cracked. There won't be any alcohol left in it. It'll just be all denatured and stinking of glycol, and that's it. And that's about it. We should get about 3.5 litres in this little demijohn here, and that'd be tremendous. 3.5 litres of about 73%, 75% ABV, so strong enough. Right, back in business then. We're nearly at the end of our stripping run. Obviously we're seeing 97 on the machine, and up the top we're getting 95. Anything past 98, load of rubbish. But there's still a few bits that are coming out. What we're doing now is I'm just filling up this this flask just so we do another little test. Got a pretty good yield there. Got about 4 litres of main spirit. So we'll see how that goes. And then the next phase will be the spirit run. Okay, so the game's nearly over now. We've got 97 on the machine. We've got 95.4 on the top thermometer. Really past 98 you're not getting anything good back at all, but at the moment it's still flying out. So what we're actually doing now is I'm doing another little test I think it was about 77 at the beginning. It will be far less now because obviously most of that good light alcohol's come out, and this is all the sort of horrible oily bit. Yield-wise, we probably get about 4 litres of really, really strong spirit for the next phase. So all going well. So here's our last little test. As you can see, the level of the levels dropped down to about 52, 53 sort of percent ABV. Obviously this is quite hot, so there is a temperature correction there, but that's perfectly normal. That's what we'd expect from this. So we're probably going to get about 4 and a bit litres.